Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Rakakadai. There's all praises to the Lord cause God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh by Hashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the whole elect. Preaching His word of truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazbah, the Great Millstone, Arizona Camp. Lord will with another video to edify. I'm gonna make a quick little lesson because you gotta understand whose hands you're in. All right. Jake is misconstrued on a game that's out here trying to save these fucking heathen, especially when it come to trying to save the so-called white man and open up salvation to everybody. All right, this is going to be a brief clip. You see what it says at the bottom. And I'm going to get some precepts, and Lord will this be edifying.
مقصود لهذا الزميل الصحفي حسام المصري.
لا حصر الآن خليك يا الله. راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس، راح الدفاع المدني قتلوا الناس. استهداف كبير الآن كما تشاهدون في هذه الصورة. تدمير كبير.
And that was a direct hit. That was direct hit, right? And this is what these devils do. Now, at the same time, these are going to be the same ones virtue signaling, trying to act like everybody else in the world is uncivilized. They're the aggressors. But who's being the aggressor when you're just trying to help people save them from a building that's been bombed to smithereens already and it's a threat of collapsing? These are the wicked that run this world. But at the same time, you got niggas and Christians thinking that the Israelites are the worst thing coming. They're the major problem in the earth. But this is what's been going on. And this ain't been one event. There's a bunch of these events just popping up all over the place. Because these heathen, especially Esau, and them small hats over there in the land of Israel, which are a tribe of Edomites, which are just Amalek, the worst of the heathen. This is what they do. All right? Let me get some scriptures, man. This is the prayer of Azariah 1 and 9. I started 7. And it says, in all things we have transgressed and not obeyed thy commandments, nor kept them, neither done as thou hast commanded us, that it might go well with us. And this is what happened to Israel. This is what happened to the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American. This is why you're at the bottom of all existence right now. Because you constantly transgressed, you didn't obey the commandment. When you go back to the scriptures, Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, it goes through the blessings, right? From the first verse to the 15th verse. So from the 15th verse on down, it starts going into the curses, right? And when you just take stock of how niggas move on a day-to-day basis as a whole, you see that Jake isn't upholding the things that the Lord made. So this is why we in this type of state. It says, wherefore all that thou hast brought upon us and everything that thou hast done to us, thou hast done in true judgment. This is why you're down. It's just a righteous judgment that we are at the bottom as we are. Because we transgress. Jake constantly transgress. They make a sport of it. Adultery is a sport. You got a nigga like Drake. Somehow this nigga's at the top of the charts on every damn thing. But then information comes out, and this dude is a serial adulterer. He don't even pick fights with men. He goes, gets a BBL, because he's BBL Jersey, get some ab implants, right? And then turn around and not fight you as a man, but try to pop your woman, and he's always going to have a success in that goal. Right? So the Lord is fully justified in how he's done us and allowed the heathen to beat us down. Now, verse 9, it says, Thou didst deliver us into the hands of lawless enemies, most hateful forsakers of the Most High, and to an unjust king and the most wicked in all the world. And that's what you just saw, a video of the wicked of all the world. This is what they do. What does it say in not Azariah, but Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter? All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon 2:1. I'll jump down. It says, My son, if thou comest to... no, that's Ecclesiastes. Wisdom of Solomon. It says, 2:1, it says, For the ungodly said... Now, that's the context. This is the ungodly thought process. Reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious. And in the death of a man, there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. Now, when you jump down, and I'll start here at verse 10. It says, Let us oppress the poor and righteous man. This is what they do. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. And that's what they do. Might is right. If it was wrong for them to do this and bomb people that are helping rescue people from a building with direct hits on camera, right? They want to be able to do it in their eyes. This is why the scriptures tell you in Psalms, I think it's the 50th chapter. Let me get that. Yeah, Psalms 50 and I'll start at 16. I might end up jumping around. It says Psalms 50 and 16, But unto the wicked the Most High said, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? And this is what them small hats do over there in the land of Israel. They'll sit here and make a whole military exercise and plan, the Greater Gaza plan. Then they make up the King David plan. They sit here and say they use the scriptures to justify bombing them Palestinians to smithereens, calling them Amalek, but at the same time, right, they'll use the Bible to justify it, sitting there saying, remember what Amalek did. But let us sit here and preach a message to where we tell you heathen are Edomites, and according to the Bible, you will be going into captivity. They'll turn you out to be a fucking pariah and try to condemn you on open front. Well, why did you devils take the Lord's name and his covenant in your mouth? You see? Seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. Who is the one that owns the industries for Cornhub? Who's the one that really owns that industry? Who is it? When you really go down into it and you really delve into it, it's these devils. Who's the one who owns these companies that poison the foods? Who's the ones that own the record labels that produce this music, right? This so-called music that is destructive to society. All right, we really go into every aspect that's messed up in life. It's these Edomites that are at the center of it. They don't want to graft on the righteousness, but these are supposed to be God's people. When thou sawest a thief, thou consentest with him, and hast been partakers with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Always lying, always switching up the narrative. Now you got Trump sitting there saying, the Smithsonian only focuses on the negative or the bad of slavery and none of the good. Well, the scriptures tell you, woe to him that builded his house with blood. What is the point of focusing on the good when you've done so much bad? It says, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thy own mother's son. This is the point right here. Verse 21, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such as one of myself. Going back to the point of the might is right, right? In his mind, if he was able to do it, it was blessed, right? These things hast thou done, and I kept silent. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such as one as thyself. But I reprove thee and set them in order before thy eyes. And what is the them that's being set in order? The true Israelites, the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because among them, right, and the confusion of face that are out there that look like the other nations, but really their spirit and their bloodline goes back to a male of the 12 tribes of Israel on their father's side. Right? That's what you're seeing. That's what you're seeing. Bros are being woken up, and we're being set in order, and it's reproving these devils. Because Wisdom of Solomon, if you go back there, it tells you that he professed to be the son of the Most High. Right? He abstained from us as from filthiness, the transgression of their education. This is what's in the scriptures, man. And these devils really think. It says, what is that scripture? How does that go? Yeah, here it is. Zechariah 11 and 4 says, thus say how power feed the flock of the slaughter, whose oppressors slay them. Now, them Palestinians, yeah, some of them over there are Israelites. Some of them are. But the bulk of the Israelites that will get salvation in these last days are in Babylon the Great, which is America, right? So, it says, whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty. Now, if they're doing this to them Palestinians, and they kind of hate them. Imagine how much hate they're going to have for you tribes that are here in the States. We in the time of Jacob's trouble, man. Shit's real. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. You see? And this is how these devils think. They think because they've been able to sit here and do these things and get away with it. They're able to bomb niggas on live broadcasters with direct hits where they're just helping people out of a building. Right? They're telling you right there and there that, hey, this is given for them to do. The scriptures tell you the Lord was going to give us to not reverence. Let me get this. Where's this scripture at, man? Yeah, here it is. Deuteronomy 28 and 50. It says, 49. It says, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. You see, there's no regard, there's no favor to anybody. These devils are fucking bombing this. They're just doing this shit that they want to do. These are the people that you, Jake, trying to sit here and save, that'll do these type of things in a world where this is illegal. In international courts, this is illegal, but who's going to say anything? Right? So when if the world can't say nothing when it's happening to these Palestinians, imagine what the world is going to say when it's happening to you, Jake. Man, you talking about a real bad man. Right? The scriptures say he's going to come in like a flood. Right? He's going to come in like a flood, like a madman, sparing none. Jake, you don't really understand the time you're in. Right? For the elect, the scriptures say that the Lord was going to raise up Michael to be a defense, and Lord, will I be a part of that number? But for anybody that didn't get this word and get this gospel and believe in it, you're going to deal with this type of devil. Right? I just wanted to get that in the ear, man. That flavor you can hear, right? But Lord willing, this is edifying. I say shalom.